Jen will be ringing the bell, I believe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Theodore Parker Church, Theodore Parker Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Nancy Wilbur, and I realized this morning I've been coming to this church with my wife, Mary Ann, since the last century. As we enter into worship, we bring with us all the sorrows and joys of our week, and we know that here we are held in loving community. Here we are reminded that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. Here we seek to counter oppression, to work for healing and justice in a bruised and broken world. Here we invite all of you to bring your perspectives, your beliefs and doubts, and all that is unique about you, and all that is wondrous about you to our service. In the spirit of love, all are welcome here. For those of you joining us in person, a few things you may want to know. Our congregation is mask optional, and if you would like to be seated in an area where others are also wearing a mask, the section over here by these windows is reserved for people wearing masks. You can pull up the order of your service on your phone by using the QR codes you see in the pews, or take one of the large print copies that are available at either entrance. Our service is being recorded today and will be available on YouTube later. About once a month, we have an opportunity to speak our joys and concerns ourselves during the service. That will be today. People of all ages are welcome to move about in the sanctuary as they need to, or to make themselves comfortable in the cozy zone in the front of the first pew. Children's programming for elementary and school-age kids is happening today. And during our service, our child care provider is available to be with nursery-age children in the nursery located in our parish hall. And what's the name of our new person? Shay is our new nursery school provider. Many thanks to Deanna Wong, who is our camera point person today, and to Ruth Kahn, who is our Zoom usher. If you're new to Theodore Parker or are visiting today, we'd love to stay in touch. You're invited to fill out a connection card, which will give you an opportunity to sign up for our weekly updates and help us welcome you. And that will be available online in the chat along with our contact information. And for those of you here in person in the sanctuary, you are encouraged to fill out the contact card that you will find in your pews within the welcome brochure. Let's take a minute now to greet each other. For those of you on Zoom, putting your video on for this time helps us connect with you. Deanna, would you please put our sanctuary screen in gallery view so we can see our off-site congregation? Let's give each other a big wave, sanctuary folks. The camera is under the clock, so if you turn around and still look at the people. As we continue to greet each other, if online, you may post a hello in the chat. If you are physically in the sanctuary, we invite you to greet one another, say good morning, And please ask for consent before offering a hug or a handshake. Please, let's greet each other.
Our opening words are from Reverend Scott Taylor. May this flame cast its light towards better days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place we are going, but a place we are creating. The path of new possibilities will not be found, but made. The justice we long for does not sit at the end of an inevitable arc. It lies in the bending that is ours to do. A new world is waiting to be built, friends. May our time together light the way. Please join us now in our opening hymn, number 20, Be Thou My Vision. The words will be up on the screen. Please rise and body your spirit and join us in song.
Thou my Thou my soul shelter, thou my high tower. Raise me up heavenward, O power of my power. Riches I need not, nor words empty praise. Thou my inheritance now and always. Thou and thou only first fill my heart. Sovereign of heaven, may treasure thou art.
I'd love for you to join me now in saying the words of shared covenant with which we light our chalice each week, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. The words will be up on your screen. We say them every week, once in English and once in Spanish. The Spanish is in honor of our sibling community in Plazuelas, El Salvador. And I wonder if any one of my friends who are sitting up front, Ave, do you want to light the chalice? Go for it, please do. Join me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es nuestra oración. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Heather Concannon. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the minister of this congregation. And this morning, I get to do our story for all ages. And we're going to do it a little bit differently. And I need some help with this story. It's not even really a story. It's more of an activity. So I'm wondering if there are any kids who are here who might be able to help me and come up forward if you're not already sitting forward. Would any kids be willing to come forward and join me up here? Come on up. And then it'll be really easy to go to Children's Chapel. Rose is also going to help me. I've got some friends up here who are going to be able to help me. Come on up, Abigail and Cecile. Awesome. If you're sitting in your pews and you're comfortable there and you have something to add, feel free to just raise your hand. But I'm going to ask that, go ahead and take a seat. Get comfortable. We're going to do a little talking. I'm going to ask that usually when I have a conversation kind of in a story for all ages, I ask everybody to give me their ideas, kids, grown-ups. But today I want to ask the kids because I think that sometimes kids' voices are not as listened to as grown-ups' voices. Have you ever noticed that? I'm getting a lot of nods up here. So I'm going to ask the kids to help me to answer some of our questions, and we'll see if we can do it. If we need some more input, I might ask grown-ups for some input, but we're going to start with our kids up here and the kids in the pews. Okay. So can anybody read what this says? Ave, what does it say? The system is broken. What does it mean when we say something's broken? Any ideas? When something's broken, what does that mean? It's cracked. That's one way it can be broken. What else? It's not working the way we want it to work. And when we say the system is broken, I'm talking about like the world that we live in. We live in a world with a lot of different kinds of systems. We have a school system, and we have food systems, and we have, what other kinds of systems? Healthcare systems. And some of them are not working the way we want them to work. So I'm wondering, if the kids in this congregation have some examples of the way that the world is not working the way we think it should work. Yeah, Rudy. The Senate? Great. Rose is going to write things down. Okay, what other ways? We're getting some applause. Some grown-ups agree with you, Rudy. What other ways is the world not working the way we think it should work? Any other ideas? Nola, yeah. Lots of plants and animals are being killed. We're not taking very good care of our earth. I've noticed that too. Any other ideas? Keys, yeah. Healthcare's really expensive. That's very true. Other ideas about the way that the world is not working the way we think it should work? I'm going to give the kids another minute to share some ideas, and then I'll take some from grown-ups. Nola, another one? I love that. I mean, I don't love that, but Nola said some cultures or people who believe different things aren't being treated equally. I think that's a really great example. Yeah. Not everyone has a home. That's right. Any other examples? All right, I'll take a few examples from grown-ups. Any examples that grown-ups want to add? Transportation's broken. Schools are broken. The T? Falls under transportation. Schools, hunger, police brutality. There's a lot of things we could add to this list, right? War. Oh, I missed whatever it was. Alabama, the Alabama Supreme Court, is that where? Reproductive rights. Not everybody has the right to control their own body the way we think that they should. Yep. Okay. Rose, would you flip the page for me? These are a lot of things, right? These are a lot of things. And sometimes when I look at all these things, I feel like, oh, do you ever feel that way? Yeah, okay. Let's flip the page. Who can read what this says? Ave, you want to read it again? Another world is possible. So I want us to use our power of imagination and imagine if we got to live in a better world, what would that better world have in it? Yeah, what would that amazing world have in it? Special helping magic? I love that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something that's super realistic. We are just imagining if we could create a world, what would it be like? Nola? Equal rights. What else? I know there's lots of good ideas in the sanctuary. Everyone has food and shelter. Did you have an idea? Okay. Protection of everyone's rights. Trains run on time. Trains run on time, healthcare for all. Keys, yeah. Free public transportation. Reproductive rights. End to war. Rose is trying to keep up. Rose is doing so good. Stopping at 350 parts per million. Climate change. I'm going to say climate justice. Okay, stop at 350. There's another one. Yeah, Rudy, you got one. 3-day weekends. I love that. We got cheers up front. Okay, let's take 2 more ideas about what this amazing world would be like. Women control their own bodies. I'm going to add all people control their own bodies. And not other people's bodies, right? Yeah, Ave. Candy. Candy for all, okay. All who wanted, great. We had one more idea. One more idea? Affordable dentists. I'll add dental to that, yeah. After we've eaten all that candy. All right, last idea, Nola. No toothaches or cavities or anything. I love it. No toothaches or cavities or anything. So, when I look at this list, I think that this seems like a pretty good world to live in. Do you agree? I also think that everybody's idea about what this amazing world might be like is a little bit different. And one of the reasons that I like to come to community is that we get to talk about what my idea is and what your idea is. And the other thing that we get to do is we get to imagine together what could this world be like. And we don't have to know all of the steps to get there in order to imagine. But I think that sometimes when we talk about changing the world to be more like the world we imagine it could be like, we get kind of stuck on this ways that everything's broken. But I think there's also something really powerful and important about imagining the ways things could be. So thank you all for helping me to imagine this today. Thank you to our kids for helping to lead us in this activity. And we're going to sing our children out to Children's Chapel with Rose, and they'll go next door.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
There are many additions that are being added as the kids go out to Children's Chapel. So before we join in our time of meditation and prayer, I'd like to invite Susan Karen and Carol Landritis up to introduce a team in our congregation that we want to make sure you all are aware of and know how to access, which is our caring ministry team. So Susan and Carol, would you join me up here to share a little bit about the work that the caring ministry team is doing?
Good morning. I'm Carol Landritis. I've been coming to Theater Parker since 2007, and I've been a member of the Caring Ministry team since 2015. Currently, I'm one of the co-chairs of the Caring Ministry team, which we also refer to as the CMT.
Hi, and I'm Susan Karen, the other co-chair of the Caring Ministry team. And I've been on the team since 2019, and I've been coming to Theodore Parker since 1990. So today, we're here to help the congregation become more aware of what the Caring Ministry team is and what we do. First of all, the mission of the team is to strengthen Theodore Parker Church as a caring community and to encourage voluntary acts of loving kindness among members and friends at times of blessings, change, stress, and loss in the congregation. We offer a variety of resources, which Carol's going to start with now.
Actually, we would like to introduce you to the other members of the Caring Ministry team. A couple people on Zoom and the others in the congregation. Please stand when I call your name. Jen Buchwald. Sharon Hamilton. She would be on Zoom. Mary Sarin, also on Zoom. Helen Garrettson. Kathy Ware. Thank you. You can be seated. The CMT offers assistance for different life events for TPC members and friends, such as the birth of a baby, adoption, surgery, illness, and death of a loved one. When asked, the CMT will send out a caring ministry notice to share this type of information with the congregation. In addition, if requested, the CMT will send cards, arrange for meals, rides to appointments, visits from members of the congregation, and will help plant TPC irises in memory of a loved one. We greatly appreciate how quickly TPC members and friends respond to the needs of the congregation. In addition, the Caring Ministry team has a lending library of 34 books, which are intended for children, families, adolescents, and adults. Members of the congregation can check out a book for 2 weeks before they have to return it. We also have resources such as a list of children's books about loss, death, bereavement, grief, and coping, as well as names and information regarding community groups for dealing with loss and grief. In addition, we also have information about caring for the caregiver. Our lending library book list and resources can be found on the TPC website under the Caring Ministry section. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. In 2020, just before COVID closed the church, the Caring Ministry team dedicated the rear west corner of the sanctuary, which is that corner, as a place to reflect, pray, meditate, or just sit in silence. We introduced Stones in the Water, which gave people the opportunity to drop a stone in a water vase. The idea is to set an intention for a person, idea, event, or anything one feels moved to do through dropping a stone in the vessel. The stone symbolizes an intention or prayer in a physical sense. And we would like to think that as the stone moves through the water, usually quickly, the spiritual is represented by the physical. A book is also available for people to write their intentions, reflections, or remembrances if they wish. It's not required. Some may want to honor a memory of a loved one, reflect on something or someone, or just sit in silence, either with an intention or not. This corner offers the opportunity to pray, reflect, honor someone, and use the written word as one sees fit. We hope that in the caring months, you'll discover this space and it will be meaningful to you. If you would like to receive Caring Ministry notices and have the opportunity to offer help to the congregation, you can contact our church administrator, Liz Martin, at the office, and she'll simply just put you on the Caring Ministry team email list, and you'll receive all the Caring Ministry notices that go out. If you have any questions, please feel free to see me, Carol, Helen, Kathy, Jen, and at coffee hour, or Mary and Sharrett when they're here, or email them. And thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan and Carol. So we now deepen into a space of meditation and prayer. And I invite us to settle into your seat, whether you're with us in the sanctuary or joining us at home. Take a few nurturing breaths and give yourself over to this time of stillness. I invite us to remain seated as we sing our centering hymn, Loosen, which Michael will lead us in.
All right, there's two parts to this, and I'll teach you both of them. Here's the first part. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Sing it with me. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. One more time. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Here's the second part. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Sing it along. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Sing the first part again. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to worry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Second part. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this? Now sing whichever part you want to sing. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Let's do it again. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Repeat the last part. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. One more time. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
So friends, we come into community to share our lives and our hearts with each other. And one of the ways that we do this is that we offer opportunities to share what's going on in our lives. And our congregation's practice has been to share about once a month our joys and concerns with a spoken in a spoken format, and we're doing it in written formats on other weeks. And I would love to invite anyone who'd like to share a joy or a concern with the congregation to come forward and share. If you're joining us online today, I invite you to type it into the chat, and I will read it out loud for you and share and light a candle as well. So it seems like we've got some folks.
So this week, Mary Beth and I are celebrating our 45th anniversary together.
Stency. Some of you may remember our son Thomas, who grew up in this church from when he was about 2 until he graduated from high school. Thomas had his 30th birthday yesterday. You want to feel old, those of you who remember him in the cow costume. But, and also he and his girlfriend just adopted a puppy. So celebration all around.
Two things. One's a concern, which every time we do this, I'm going to say reproductive rights, reproductive rights. It's been, every week seems like a horrible week, but today's activity made me think about how the world could be different, and I'm thinking about all the communities that I'm involved in that were really active this week, and being with those people and the support to hopefully change things. And then a joy, which is, a lot of you know that my son Gregory went to Greece and Turkey with school, and he's home, and he had a great time, and I was just so thrilled for him.
All right, I'm reading this on behalf of Pat Hamilton, who's helping out with all the kids. It's a concern for Ethan, who is 4 years old and having concerning medical issues.
Yes, hello. I'm Mary Russell, and I'm asking for your help I'm crowdsourcing my next couple of paintings. So what I want to do, it's about trying to help people start thinking about our spiritual path that we need so that we can get the right size and be the right size in our environment and help to, fix the or stop the degradation of our environment. So I'll tell you, like, my ideas. We are stardust, the universe, then our beautiful world, then what is it, we don't have to do this, but what is it that we want to change? And then how can we take action? So I'll be around. It's a spiritual path, and I can't figure it out myself, so give me ideas. Thank you. Whoops. Oh, there we go.
I am not on the Caring Ministry, but I have seen the Caring Ministry in action for Carol Allen, and I want to weep with the amazingness of this congregation. Everybody has helped her so much, and she has had a shower now, and she's just, is she up there? Yikes. Anyway, thank you. It's an amazing, amazing group, this whole church and the Caring Ministry. Thanks so much.
I will add Carol's joy, which she is joining us online. She says, first of all, so much gratitude for the Caring Ministry team and my whole amazing TPC community for the loving support after my surgery, and also a joy for a milestone of sorts. Yesterday, I went upstairs for the first time since the operation, had a shower, and slept in my own bed.
So we have a joy. Our kids turned 7 this week, and it's just been a really great time celebrating. They actually had a wonderful birthday party in the hall. I recommend renting it. But in addition to that, though, we did have a family tragedy. My cousin died senselessly on Monday to domestic violence. And she didn't suffer, but we're all left searching for answers that don't exist. But I just want to light a candle for Diana, 37.
We've got one more online from Dave Ware, echoing Kathy's joy at Gregory's happy return, and also her and our concern for the danger to reproductive rights and the life they represent. And for all of these joys and concerns that were shared, and for all that we hold in the silence of our own hearts, I will light a final candle. And I invite us to join in a space of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, we seek wholeness and healing. We long for moments of answers, for conscience, for new possibilities. Spirit of life and love, may we allow the hidden processes of growth and healing and transformation to take place within us. And this morning we also lift up prayers for Next Benedict, non-binary teen who died in Oklahoma, for the people of Rafa, for all of the joys and concerns that were lifted up by this congregation. We mourn every loss and every injustice, and we celebrate together in times of hope and opportunity as well. Amidst these injustices, amidst this mourning, amidst these celebrations, may we work to build a new way, a new world. May we remain open to being both the changer and the changed. Spirit of life and love, we know we are part of something larger than ourselves, that our hearts call us toward a new way of living, that a more whole and just world is possible. Together we rest into several moments of shared silence.
Our reading for today is by Patricia Jimenez in her essay, essay, Theology and Anti-Racism, Latino and Latina Perspectives. She writes, "True liberation requires denunciation of oppression, and then a further step, annunciation telling what the future will be, regardless of whether the prediction comes true within our history or not. Telling what the future will be is an opportunity for us to dream. It is an opportunity to tap into the creative magic that happens when each person is encouraged and expected to be a creative agent. When the response creates a new community of love and justice, we become co-creators with the divine. Our survival and salvation depend on liberation for all." And now it's time for our offertory. Generosity is a spiritual practice within our Unitarian Universalist congregations. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and in sacred space. We give with gratitude for all that we have been given and with the faith that together we have more than enough. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. Ushers will be coming around the sanctuary to collect an offering from those in the pews who wish to donate something more tangible. As the TPC singers circle round for freedom, an offertory to sustain this congregation of memory and hope will be gratefully received. Thank you.
So in recent years, I have gotten very into a genre of fiction that I have only recently learned is best described as solar punk. Solar punk, according to the very authoritative internet, is a subgenre of speculative science fiction that imagines the kind of world humans could live in if we collectively turned toward sustainability and cooperation and mutuality and acceptance. And I have so many favorites from this genre, but a recent book that I have loved, book series, is the Monk and Robot series by Becky Chambers. Am I getting a shout out? I won't give any spoilers, but I will say that the world that this author builds is just exquisite. It's a world in which humans have recognized their environmental destruction and turned toward more sustainable ways of living. There are all sorts of gender identities and sexual orientations expressed in this book, but in this world, it's not even commented on because it's all just so normal and accepted. And humans have denounced their dominion over the earth and other beings, including the sentient robots who once worked for them generations ago. The story explores the encounter between a monk and one of those emancipated robots, and they reflect together on the world in which they live. It's a gorgeous book. I highly recommend it. But I've heard these books described as cozy. And I think they speak to something deeper than just a need for comfort. I think that one of the profound and prophetic things that this genre of books does is that they help us to imagine another world, a world that is not built on the fundamental premises of environmental degradation or of our current ways of decision-making or of domination. It creates a vision for a world that I think that sometimes we have a hard time accessing ourselves when we feel the need to plot out the realistic practicalities of how we get from this world to that one. In college, I majored in women and gender studies, and I became a very unfun person to watch TV with. I really loved everything I was learning in my classes, deconstructing everything, social constructions of gender and race and identity and the economy, the media, advertising. But the constant awareness that I had of how patriarchy and white supremacy and capitalism and oppression shaped the world around me was honestly starting to burn me out. It showed up in increased anger and frustration at others who just didn't get it. Feeling tired about the idea of going to more protests, getting self-righteous at family holidays. It's developmentally appropriate for a college student. But it felt frustrating and not satisfying. And I realized that what I was longing for was not just deconstructing, but reconstructing. A sense of, yes, I know that this idea is problematic, that this story is being told to make a profit, that this narrative upholds the domination of this other group of people, but what can we do instead? How am I supposed to live with this knowledge? What am I supposed to do? Around that same period of time, I had the opportunity to start working with a group of Unitarian Universalist friends who were working on starting an intentional living community grounded in the values and tradition of Unitarian Universalism. And my friend Matt, who is still one of my housemates, when he told me about this idea the first time that he and another mutual friend were throwing around, this idea of starting a cooperative house, my response was, that is literally the most banana nuts thing I've ever heard. I remember reflecting that I had been taught that being an adult meant you get to make all of your own decisions about your living situation without having to consult with anyone else, let alone the practicalities of what it would take to get this project off the ground. But I was also compelled by this vision, the idea of housing being a means of shelter more than profit especially for those of us who would be in primarily a rental market. I was compelled by the idea of a cooperatively owned venture where people who would not have access to controlling their own living situation could democratically make decisions about their rent, other things that would affect their lives. I was compelled by the idea of living in a more interconnected community than I had grown up in. And so I started working on this project with a team of 6 or 7 other people. And about 18 months later, we bought a large 11-bedroom, 3-story house and started an experiment in cooperative, faith-based living. We called it the Lucy Stone Cooperative. I lived there for 7.5 years, and those years were harder and more beautiful and more transformative than I ever could have imagined. I still live with some of the people I met through that project in a different house, but in the time that I lived in the cooperative house, I shared a home with, at the end, when I left, I counted over 60 people in 7.5 years. I went to an estimated 400 2- or 3-hour meetings. It's a lot of meetings. I cooked an uncountable number of dinners for 15 people. Sometimes I still have a hard time scaling down in my household of 9. We had lots of conflict, and we worked to build consensus. We shared the work of maintaining a house. We wrestled with questions, big questions about how to respond to harm when somebody stole money from the community. We struggled with how to decide how to balance our values, whether to keep rent affordable or to upgrade the sustainability of our home. We shared spiritual practices and singing and meals, and we hosted youth when they came to town. And there's many things I could say about this period of my life, but one of the things that stands out to me now is how it filled a need of working to create a society that I wanted to live in, not just living with the discontent of the world that I knew to be broken. It was my way of generating, of announcing, of dreaming the world that my heart knew was possible. Which is not to say it wasn't also heartbreaking and devastatingly hard at times. It was not a utopia. It was not even close. But it was a kind of experiment in trying to bring into being that world that our hearts knew was possible. Unitarian Universalist historian and scholar Dan Concannon wrote in his book, Prophetic Encounters, "When human beings encounter one another deeply, in the midst of their struggles for freedom and equality and community, prophetic power is unleashed. This is the power to denounce, to condemn those who would grind the faces of the poor into the dust, as the words of Isaiah say. But it is also the power to announce, to proclaim God's kingdom will be realized here on earth in the beloved community." Dan Concannon wrote this book on religion and the American radical tradition, which he describes by saying, "Some would call it the path of the prophets. Others speak of the American radical tradition or simply the left. It's the tradition of abolitionists who called on their neighbors to immediately renounce the sin of slavery, of feminists who recognize patriarchy as itself a form of slavery, of socialists who labored to build a cooperative commonwealth, and of pacifists who saw war as the ultimate affront to humanity." And there is such a strong tradition in our Unitarian Universalist faith of working to build a better world, a world of more justice and equity where all are able to thrive. And in order to do that, one of the sacred tools that we must draw on is the tool of imagination. The tool not just of denouncing the world as it is, but of announcing, here's what I imagine a better world to look like. This week, friends, I have wanted to do a lot of denouncing. From the heartbreak of hearing about non-binary teen Next Benedict's death, to the continued horrors of airstrikes and invasion in Rafah, to the Supreme Court, the Alabama Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos can be considered children under the law, I feel like I want to denounce all of it. But friends, I also believe that there is faith, that faith is the work of living with a foot in both worlds, both the world as it is and the world that our hearts know is possible. And that spiritual maturity is being able to hold both at once. Theologian Walter Brueggemann says, "Imagination is a danger, and thus every totalitarian regime is frightened of the artist. It is the vocation of the prophet to keep alive the ministry of imagination, to keep on conjuring and proposing alternative futures to the single one the king wants to urge as the only thinkable one. I think too often we cede imagination to the realm of children. But to keep on conjuring and proposing alternative futures for our own lives and for the world is not a childish act, it's a prophetic one. It says, this world that we've been handed, this broken, hurting world, it doesn't have to be like this. I can imagine better for us, and I believe that together we can build it. And friends, I think that this is the work of religion and of faith. Faith that the way things are is not the way things must be. Faith that another world is possible. And I believe that religious communities are one of those places that we come together to build that world, to bring into being the world that our hearts know is possible. And I think we do this in so many ways, from mutual aid, like our caring ministry team showing up with rides and meals and comfort and companionship, to our social justice work, showing up for struggles for racial and economic justice, working to examine and uproot the ways that white supremacy culture shows up in our institutions, to learning more about what it means to be transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming, and how to continue to widen our circle of welcome. Church can be a place where we practice living in that world, if only for brief moments. That world of solidarity and justice-making and acceptance, of making love manifest in the world. And there are times, I believe, when we catch glimpses of that world. I've most often experienced this in religious community, summer camps and retreats, congregations showing up for each other, interfaith dinners. And those moments, those glimpses of that better world, I believe can sustain us on the long road as we work toward it. And I wonder where you have caught a glimpse of that world your heart knows is possible. The root of the word religion is from the Latin religare, which means rebinding. And sometimes I think that religion can help us build a bridge to bind together the world as it is to the world as it could be. Because friends, I can imagine a world where transgender and non-binary teens can thrive. I can imagine a world in which no hostages are ever taken, and flattening a city of 1.4 million refugees is unthinkable. I can imagine a world in which bodily autonomy is a sacred right and reproductive justice is a given and not something that we have to fight to protect. I can imagine a world where all people are seen as inherently valuable, where Black lives matter, where trans lives matter, where we see ourselves as deeply interconnected with one another and with the earth. The exercise we did in our Story for All Ages today is one that I have primarily done with kids. And I did it first, I learned it at a UU summer camp that I worked at for many years. And here's the amazing thing about doing it with kids. Kids have had less time living under oppression and have not reached the point where society tells them to stop imagining. They've had less time to be acclimated to the status quo as just the way things are. Less time being told to think about what is practical, and thus I think that they can come up with some really creative and beautiful ideas. And what a gift, right? We can learn so much from the impulse to cast a vision without having a full roadmap to get there. Because I think that is our work as people of faith, that we are called to be vision casters, not policymakers, though we of course need those too. We are called to not let the murky roadmap tamp down our conviction that that this world is not just and that another world is possible. And in order to start imagining the world that our hearts know is possible, we need all of us. The dreamers, the architects, the policymakers, the thinkers, the preachers, the workers, the teachers, the artists, the parents, the healers, the elders, the young ones. We need to share that the world that is in our hearts is a more beautiful version. We need to practice annunciation and not only denunciation. And this is why we come together in church, because religious communities hold that faith for us, hold that faith together that another world is possible. And we seek to make it manifest through our communities, to practice here creating the world that our hearts know is possible. So, friends, may we vision and dream and announce, even though we know that it is the work of generations, even when the path to that world might be unclear. May we bring hope and faith and love to the journey, and together, may we build, or at least get a little closer to that world that our hearts know is possible. May it be so, and amen. I invite us to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1008. It's in the teal hymnal if you'd like to look at the music, and it will also be on the screens with the words.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. No freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. First verse again. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound.
We close with words from writer Arundhati Roy, who says, "Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. Many of us won't be here to greet her, but on a quiet day, if I listen very carefully, I can hear her breathing." Friends, a few announcements and invitations as we leave our service today. I'd love to invite you to join us for coffee hour next door. If you're here in person in the sanctuary, we'll be right through these doors in our other building, or to stay for Zoom breakout groups if you're joining us online. Coming up this week, we have our second book group meeting sponsored by Diana's List, our Middle East advocacy group, which is meeting on Wednesday at 6 p.m. in the parlor. They'll begin with some food and social time at 6 p.m. and the discussion at 6:30. And Linda Dittmar, the author of the book Tracing Homelands, will be joining us for this discussion. Today, tickets to Safety Ends, which is our fundraiser for Renewal House, the domestic violence shelter sponsored by the UU Urban Ministry. You can see the bus at coffee hour that will show the progress we've made toward our goal. So please take a look and check it out. Coming up is the UU Mass Action Advocacy Day. This will be online on Zoom, and you can sign up to meet with your state representatives and urge them to vote for justice-centered legislation. And for details, there will be people wearing hats at coffee hour. Will you wave your hand if you're one of those people to talk to? So Allison and Deb, feel free to talk to them at coffee hour about signing up for that. Finally, next week is our ministerial installation. We're very excited. So when a new minister arrives at a congregation, there's an installation service that's often held to celebrate the arrival and sort of formalize the new ministry and connection between the church and the minister. So that will be at 2:30 next Sunday. There are RSVP links in the weekly email. Please RSVP. Huge thanks to all of the people who are volunteering for that. And also, I just want to make a note that there will be no coffee hour next week because of it. So no coffee hour, come back at 2:30. We would love to have you there. And with that, I invite us to close our service with some music and join us for coffee hour.
This whole thing is the looper. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Got a new wax there? Or? Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of. I mean, I've had it for a while, but yeah. How many do you have? I mean, I've got a bunch of guitars and a bunch of basses. You know, so probably close to 20. Wow. Yeah. Thanks.
That was fabulous. I always know something's going to be good when you have your gear here. So.
Yeah, yeah. They were in that box.
That's great.
Thanks.
Great substitute for I wanted to keep going. We did a record right after. Hello. Good. How are you? How's your son doing?
He's doing good.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
That was like so.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That last thing was just coming to with me. It was just the last thing. Yeah, I just redid it and just redid it. So. Thank you. Thank you.